Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video I'm going to show you how to repair a ripped jacket. That's right, you know, we're out there, we're riding the trees, doing some forest free riding, we get snagged on a branch and boom, our new jacket's ripped. Now some people would be like, fuck it, throw it away, we're done with it. No, not here. We're going to repair it so that we can get optimal use out of this, get a couple more seasons before we have to retire it. Why? Because we're snowboarders. And we're used to riding haggard-ass shit. At least I am. I always repaired everything I have, so hopefully you will want to repair it. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys two ways to get this fixed. There's the quick fix, like you're on a trip, and then there's the long-term fix, which is a little bit better. So let's just dive right into this. All right, so the first fix is really quick and simple. This is something that's super cheap to do. So what you need for that is needles, waxed dental floss. I know some of you are like, what? Why not thread? Just trust me, waxed dental floss lasts longer when you sew with it. It just has a little more elasticity to it. It's just a little bit better. Plus, when you're in a pinch and you're in a mountain town that you're not familiar with, maybe they don't have a Target or they don't have a craft store, you can get the waxed dental floss for $1, and you can get the needles for about $2.50. You can usually find them in the aisle that's got the envelopes, the packing tape, stuff like that. It's just a little section. So the first thing you want to do is take your little needle kit and find the one that's got the biggest eyelet to thread this dental floss through. It's just going to make it a lot easier. It's going to be a lot easier to work with. So you want to make sure that you find that. Then you want to take your dental floss and pull out just like a nice, good long section of it. And then you're going to want to thread the needle. That's right, thread it. But you're going to get that through the little hole in there. And then you're going to tie it off. And then what you're going to do is go to the end of it and tie off a nice big knot. You want to make sure that it's nice and big so that way when you're actually pulling through, you don't have to worry about it. You might have to loop it through a few times just to make a bigger knot, but once you do, not a big deal. Like I said, this is a quick fix, but once you got that tied, what you want to do is then line up the seams. And if you have an insulated jacket, try to line the insulation back up, sticking any of that out. You know, you want to just tuck it in. Grab your needle and go from there. You actually want to find the end, put a hole through, come through, pull it, then it stops. Then what you're going to do is go back through, and you're going to pull that like that. And you're basically going to go do this down the line, keeping it pinched together. So you're basically creating a new seam on there. I'm gonna be honest with you, it does not look pretty. And this is how you sew it back together. And you're basically making that ugly seam right there. So if you can, what you want to try to do is make this as minimally invasive as possible. I mean, right now this looks really hideous because, well, that's the way I'm doing things. You see I got this excess piece of material here. So what I'm gonna do is actually cut that off. So fair warning, when you're doing this, you are putting holes back through the fabric. You're going to sacrifice some of the waterproofing in that area. Also, if you start to have issues pushing the needle through the fabric, you can take the dental floss box and use it to compensate and just help push from the back to help guide that through. It looks hideous, I'm not going to lie, but this is where the second part of this video will actually come in, and we can actually hide all this. It's still going to look like it's been repaired, but it's going to be a stronger repair job. Now that we've hit the end of this, what we need to do is pop it through one more time, and as it makes a loop, we want to bring the needle and the thread back around, bring that through. That's going to help tighten that off. So now that we've got this all pretty much done and there's a little bit of leftover thread, what we're going to do is cut it. And believe me, you want sharp scissors, not these bullshit pieces of crap. So anyways, now you got this like this. You got just enough to tie it off. One little knot, two little knots, three little knots. Cut above the knot. Boom. That's it right there. So that's how you do this as a quick fix. Is it pretty? No. Is it gonna get the job done? Yes. All right, so we sewed this up, but let's say we want to do the more permanent fix, which means we've got to use the repair tape that I showed you earlier. So what you need to do is take one of those alcohol swabs or some rubbing alcohol, anything you can to just kind of clean the area of the jacket. So you just want to make sure that you're wiping it down around those rips and tears. You know, just wipe it down, clean off any debris, any schmeg, you know, whatever you did to this thing. I don't know what you people did to this. You're gonna wanna let it dry. If you need to, you can wipe it down with a rag. And then we're gonna put the tape on and seal this up. So once you get your tape, you wanna unroll it a little bit and lay it flat on top of the tear and figure out how much of this tape you're actually gonna use. So this tear is a T-tear, so I've got a down tear and a cross tear going on there. So I'm not gonna need to trim this to narrow it up a little bit. I'm gonna be able to put the whole thing on there right across it if I want to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it flat and from there to there, and then I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna make a little mark on it, just a little mark, and I'm going to cut this fully across the way it needs to be done. And remember, use sharp scissors, people. These are ass. I need to actually buy some new ones. Now that I've done that, I've got my piece of tape. It's good. It measures across where it needs to be. Now I've got to round the corners. So what you want to do is take the scissors and you want to cut your corners and you're going to round them. So it's up to you on how much you want to round these corners, but I just went with a very mellow rounding on there. And then what I'm going to do is lay it flat on top of the rip, and then what I'm going to do is peel the adhesive off the back. So you want to make sure that you peel this accordingly. You know, this thing is going to fight you a little bit. It is a little rounded, so right now I've peeled a little bit of it, and I'm going to put that down on top over the tear, flip it back up, peel the rest of this, and I'm going to try to get any crease out of that. I'm just going to rub it out, because you always need to rub it out. But you just want to make sure that you're going over the actual tear, getting that lined up, making sure that no corner or side of it's popping up, that it's got a good adhesion to it. So one thing I would recommend is you put something heavy over that and leave it just pressed flat, phone book, dead body, you know, whatever. Just let it press for a while. It needs to adhere a little bit more in there, but that's basically how you repair a rip in a jacket really quickly. This repair tape was about $9, I think, at a outfitter store. So, you know, those guys that do like fly fishing, skiing, stuff like that, telemarketing, whatever. I don't understand that. So hopefully you guys learned how to repair a jacket 2 ways out of this video. This is stuff that I've done for years just to prolong the life of my equipment. Leave me a comment letting me know that you learned something. If you didn't, well, then there's no hope for you, and I don't even know why you're watching this. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.